all they will need to do is to find one other party, Liberal or Conservative, or even Labour, although that's very unlikely that there will be an SNP Labour vote contested by a Liberal Conservative coalition. So there's all sorts of ways you can play this. Figures, yes. No, I'm certainly not over the next 20 to 30 years. Really because of the inbuilt inertia that is in environmental thinking in the other parties. We've got to be there. After that, we may still, it would depend really on what happens to the Labour Party and the Liberal Party. The Labour Party, I would say they're eternal, very part of the party. Deeply dead. They've certainly lost the confidence of the Scottish Labour voters. The last poll suggested that there would be complete reversal of the last election to Westminster, where there were no Conservatives returning to Westminster. This time it would be the possibility of being a Labour return to Westminster, which, frankly, I think would be a disaster for democracy, because I don't think that would be truly representative of the way people think, or where they Well, it's 3 years to the next election. That's why I decided that the sooner we did it, the better. Right? It was going to be difficult for me to do it as slightly soon. So I thought it was a good idea. And I said that I'll get it done. If you decide to get it done, you might not decide. It needs to be done soon. You might not decide. As they are. But they will have to accept that the press have a problem. They don't understand it. And they will always. This is why the English Green Party have given in and said, all right, we've tried for years and years to persuade them that the press don't start always to one person as their preferred. And it doesn't, it wouldn't matter how many leaders the Greens have ever elected, that Caroline because she's marvelous, right? They always went. She was the person who was, take question time, appearances on radio, asked the comments in the papers. But she was an MEP. She was elected to, Westminster or to a local council. And so, in the end, it makes it much easier for the press. And there's a symbiotic relationship between the parties and the press. And we have to use that. We have to know how to play it. There's no point in us sticking to our principles and then confusing them. They've got to be treated as they rather simple, but less than straightforward.
You've mentioned now and again sort of, Europe and the European Parliament. Do you see that long term, much more of a focus will have to be given to Europe and the European Parliament as a decision-making body on energy and environmental issues, as opposed to the UK or the Scottish Parliament?
Well, the policy of the Green Party has always been that decisions should be taken at the lowest appropriate level, but also certain decisions should be taken at the highest appropriate level. And clearly decisions on sustainability and the environment should be taken at the highest possible level. Because from the start, the environment doesn't know any borders, right? Pollution caused in one country affects another. Substandard goods, fridges are D or E rated. I mean, we should be getting rid of those anyway. Are made in one country or bought in another country, and so on and so forth. And the Green Party, one of the things about the Lisbon Treaty that we were entirely happy with was the idea of giving more powers and more democratic accountability to the European Parliament. Things are going to go that way, but in the same breath, I can say that I've campaigned, not enormously campaigned, but supported wherever possible. And I've hosted the Scottish Association of Community Councils in the Parliament, their last annual general meeting, well, next to last annual general meeting, to which more community councillors turned. It was a record turnout of community councillors in the history of the association. And I feel that community councillors themselves should be given more powers, and that is our party policy. So we want to see more power going down, but we also would like to see certain powers and more democratic accountability to be going to the European Parliament. Yes?
When I come from Belgium, and one of the Green Parties, the Flemish Green Party, is very big in Belgium, you know. And I attended a conference where one of the spokes, I can't remember her name, you know, was saying that, of course, the Green Party was very concerned with the environmental issues and global warming, but also stressing the fact that they had quite, that they were very concerned about social policy and education and security. And so I thought that they were stressing upon that to maybe get more votes. And they do have quite a big number, well not a big number, but a larger number of seats in the Parliament in Belgium than the Green Party has in the UK. I was wondering if you thought that had an impact, the fact that they were stressing on social policy.
No, it's the electoral system. You've got proportional representation in every country in Europe except England and Wales. I got my position in the Scottish Parliament with 6% of the vote. If we have the same system down south, I'd still be shouting from the sidelines. It's democracy that has given the Greens a voice across Europe. And as for social policies, I would maintain, in fact, we do have policies across the board, and I speak on all these policies in the Scottish Parliament, and some very different policies. Some of which are actually now beginning to be taken up, I have to say, by the SNP, or they're looking at, because I have for many, many years supported policies, particularly for young children, espoused by the Nordic countries. For instance, in primary schools, by law, the children have to spend a day a week out of school. That's that, or its equivalent. No? An hour out in the open air, or an hour visiting somewhere, but they must spend 5 to 6 hours a week out of school, because they believe the school is not the only place they will learn. And what a difference that would make to education. I believe that everybody should have access to outdoor education, and I've been campaigning on that in the Scottish Parliament to the point where every time there's an education debate, or has been in the former Parliament and in this one over the last year, they know what's going to come, because I mention outdoor education in that speech every time. Because once we led the world in Scotland, 1980s, we led the world in the amount of outdoor education that was available for young people. Now, we're back down to what was something anyway. There is one outdoor education teacher full-time left in Scotland. That's how far back down it's gone. And why? Because under the regional education